Hi everyone, I'm Bridget and I'm here with Colin, but you guys know him as Vesperteen. So how are you
Hey,
today?
I'm good today. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. It's
Good.
very fall-y outside,
I
so I had
know.
to bring out the fall
You sure
colors.
are. Damn. Love it.
Okay, so you performed amazing. Now it's time to get to know
Thank
you a
you.
little bit better, okay? Tell us how you got started with your musical career.
Well, um, I guess in high school I started playing drums first. And then my brother was taking guitar lessons, and so I would just kind of take his guitar and teach myself and learn and just try to figure out songs. And then he and I started playing together, and then just met other friends in high school and started playing with them. And then right out of high school, went on my first tour. Have been doing it ever since that, but with a few different bands mostly. And then I started Vesperteen like 4 or 5 years ago.
So you mentioned you started playing with was it the drums,
Mm-hmm.
and you performed with the guitar. So what other instruments do you play?
Drums is my main thing, but I can fake guitar and I can fake piano a little bit.
Well, you faked it very well
Thank
today.
you. It's all a ruse.
So I read that you write and produce all your music, and all your material. So can you tell us a little bit about your process when it comes to being in that mental phase of getting your work together?
Yeah, that's a fun question. Uh, because I've felt like, yeah, so I've collaborated with people. Like I've written everything for the most part and then collaborated with a lot of other people. Um, but I feel like towards the end of last year, or about this time last year, like last summer, it started to, I don't know, the collaboration process maybe kind of became more of a hindrance to my creativity in some ways. There's a lot more to it than that, but I just kind of got to a point, I got really burnt out. And so now I'm approaching it in a new way where it is literally just me doing everything. Um, and that feels just, I don't know, it's a different approach and different process. But I've loved time and place for everything. And so all those collaborations were amazing.
Perfect. So you talked about your brother and how he played a little bit of instruments. Now, so did you grow up in a musically talented family? And who are your musical influences?
Yes. Both our parents were musicians. My dad was a drummer. My mom was a vocalist and did lots of like musicals and musical theater and stuff like that. So yeah, always music. Uh, Lots of Beatles early on, and then it became me. We were a little not really allowed, in grade school to listen to like the rock station, and
Mhm.
so, but that's all we wanted to do. So of course we're like recording Beastie Boys and Guns N' Roses and whatever we can find on the station to tape and then listen to in secret. So yeah, grew up with music, and then I mean, influence-wise, it's really for me, it's all over the board, um, and it kind of depends. It's very mood-based, and so uh, I could listen to. Right now, I'm listening to all like no pop, like nothing that's anywhere similar to what I do. Nothing like it, and so it's all a lot of obscure 60s soul and lots of jazz. So, and I find that inspiring, like influential in a different way than like pop would be.
I like that. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're gonna switch some gears and talk about touring. So you've toured extensively over, the past several years, and in your documentary, Together for the Summer, you talk about, how important it is to connect with your fans. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, why is it important for you and for your music?
I mean, the thing is, yeah, the people that consume your art, when it becomes, as soon as you put it out there, it's commercial art. As soon as, you can't really just be like, I'm just a pure artist. Like if you're at any way putting it out there and selling it or even just displaying it, I guess selling it, then you are like a commercial artist. And that becomes a factor into what you do and how you do it and who you do it for and when you do it and where you do it. And so, yeah, I mean, like playing live is the best. And of course, I miss it a lot right now. And so touring around and seeing people, I mean, there's nothing like the energy of just being with people that are there because of something you made. And so I don't even like saying the fans. It feels so like I'm here, you're there. But the people that are into Vespertine are the best. It's great.
So if touring, there's long nights, long days. So how do you, stay put together and, focused?
Well, I think here's a funny anecdote for that. Whenever we, like as a band crew, walk into pretty much any place, we're immediately identified as a band. And so I think you just develop a patina from the road on our souls and our energy. And so you can tell, because it's not just the way we dress or look, that's part of it. But yeah, it's usually a little ragged and a little, kind of just wandering into a gas station or whatever. But yeah, keep it together. I mean, we're just trying to survive on the road. So keeping it together is just a bonus if we can manage to look okay and, stay sane. But I guess we kind of see it as just like one big chunk, like just get through these 2 weeks. It's going to be crazy. You're going to get no sleep. You're going to forget, like, stuff's going to go wrong. But you just kind of power through.
That sounds like fun.
It is fun. It is fun. It can be exhausting, but yeah, like I said, it's a mental thing, really, after a while.
So you've had the opportunity, to play at some amazing festivals, and also larger venues like Newport and the Schottenstein Center, with 21 Pilots and stuff. So what is the transition like from an intimate setting to a larger setting?
It's not that much different. And actually, we played that big show at the Shot really towards the beginning of like me touring a lot. And so I feel like after that, it was pretty much nonstop touring. And so I became a much better performer after it's been like almost 3 years or so now. And so, but overall the transition, since I hadn't ever really played for a crowd that size, it really just became like, well, this is just like any other show. All you can really see is the first, couple dozen rows of people. And so it's like, well, it's just all us here. Like, this is all I'm worrying about playing for right now. But yeah, looking back, if I were to get the chance to play a big place like that again, try to work the mezzanine and the nosebleeds a little more as well.
Fair enough. So you had like an amazing cover of Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine. What was the inspiration behind that?
I think for me, it's just the melody, just the dun, 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 dun. Like it's just struck a chord. And that song was just like, I don't know, it felt like a ballad that was put to like an upbeat thing. And so I like cut it in half, time signature wise, and made it into halftime and made it a little more like a ballad, like I would like it to be. So it's really fun. It just felt like a natural one. I probably had a hard time deciding what like songs to cover, and I still do, because it's like, do you do a cool modern one that like just came out and everybody will know and recognize, or do you do an older one that not many people get? But I felt really connected to that one. I just think it's a beautiful song.
So how would you classify the music that you write? It's very melodic, but it has a energy and a cool vibe to it that's not like traditional pop music. So how would you describe your music?
Let's say it's cinematic and energetic. Yeah, it can be melancholy, and it can be sarcastic, and it can be dancey too. So again, kind of all over the board, which, having a lot of different influences, like, well, this song I was kind of trying to be Paul Simon, and then in this one I was kind of trying to be whatever, Henry Rollins or something, like just a very wide spectrum of influence that goes into what I'm making.
So I like your sleeve a lot, and I understand that you have a tattoo business. Talk to me about that.
Wouldn't call it a business yet.
Okay.
I mean, I get some tips, but I just started, and so I'm just doing friends that trust me enough to let me practice. But that's been fun. It's a great, I guess you could call it a quarantine-induced hobby. But I like it because, with music, I've been doing it for a very long time, and it's hard to do music objectively anymore in a way, which is something I'm working on, is trying to get out of that a little bit. But tattooing, I don't know anything about the industry or like any of the stuff behind it. I'm just like, this is fun as hell and I'm going to do it. And I've always been an artist, like a visual artist, and I've drawn and illustrated a lot. So I don't know, I just felt like right time to do it. Fun little side hustle.
So outside of, music and art, what other interests do you have?
I've always loved cooking, and now that we're home a lot, I've been doing a lot more of that. That's really fun. I've always thought of maybe turning that into a business of some kind too. But yeah, I love that. I don't know. We bought a house recently, and so lots of home projects. That's fun. And then, yeah, just making art.
So what's next for Vesperteen? Do you have any projects or any ideas in the near future?
It's a good question. I kind of, about a year ago from now, I put out the last release that I had done. And since then, that was at the end of like 4 years straight of just going real hard. And so after that release and that release show here in Columbus, I just kind of needed to chill and take a break. And so, funny enough, February 2020, I was like, all right, time to get back out there. And then COVID shut it down. And so since then, I've just kind of been like, okay, I got some time to make a comeback here. So I have a lot of songs that I started working on last year, all throughout the year. And I don't know, there's probably 40 some that are in a folder that I just kind of need to figure out how to finish up, or maybe I'll just start some brand new ones and scrap it all. I don't know. It's very, there's a lot of indecision right now, but something soon.
I'm excited to see what you have planned.
Thank you.
So, okay, here's my next question. Now, if someone is looking to get into the music industry, what advice would you have for them?
I heard a quote from an actor, but I can't remember the actor, but he would always... This guy was asking him, he was asking the same question. He's like, what would you say to somebody that wants to get into acting? He's like, I would tell him to not do it. He's like, what are you talking about? Why would you tell them to not do it? He's like, because if they really want to, they'll do it anyway. So there's nothing I can do to sway them one way or another. That's a bigger answer to that question. Practically speaking, I would say you got to just focus on what you do. It's so easy to make things and publish things these days with technology. You can feel like, oh, cool, I made a cool thing and I can put it out instantly. I would say that more people should just kind of wait when doing that, and just give yourself more of a period of like, especially when you're younger too, and like you're getting into music and you're trying to figure yourself out. Tension can make really good art, but it also, like, you might put out something and then literally like the next year you're gonna be like, oh, that is such shit. I wish I hadn't put that out. But it's out there forever. Like, you can't do anything about it. And so I would say, just like for anybody that's kind of just starting, it's like, just don't put out anything for like a year. Just do it for yourself in your bedroom. Don't even show anybody. Like, just do it. Until you just like, maybe until somebody accidentally hears it and you're like, okay, now it's time to, you get good feedback. So yeah, I guess that's my advice.
How can people find you? Like, what are your social media handles? Spotify,
I think they're all
Instagram?
at Vesperteen, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go check out our YouTube channel for more videos with artists like Vesperteen. And also, don't forget to check out and follow us on Instagram for more updates. Again, thanks for tuning in, and remember to keep safe and looking out for your squad.